Now, did you know that what you do 5 minutes after you finish your technique potentially determines everything? So many of us get caught up in this world of techniques and manifesting technique hacks, right? That many people seem to think that the secret to manifestation is actually in the technique. I mean, that's why a lot of people watch a lot of videos, right? I want to see the next technique, or they'll try and speed through the video to get the 3 steps to manifest whatever, or whatever the next hack is. And imagine it for a moment. You know, you have engaged in your whatever technique that you enjoy doing. Perhaps you imagined it so clearly, so perfectly, you felt it real. Maybe you engaged in some power affirmations, which I know Joseph has taught. Apparently many of you are getting some incredible successes with those. Stefan in particular seems to be manifesting everything. I'm watching you, Stefan. You're amazing. You're amazing. But yeah, maybe you've been doing power affirmations. Maybe you've scripted an entire new story for yourself. And so you felt it real in that moment. You filled yourself with the feeling of your wish having been fulfilled. But the thing that not many people will tell you is the true key to it all is that what matters most is that 5 minutes after you finish your technique. That 5 minutes is key and is going to determine whether that was something that could be considered a success or not, right? Whether it was just an act that you ended up doing and will probably have to do 1,000 times more before you actually perhaps let it sink in. This is a mistake that 99% of people make, like the moment that they open their eyes or put down that pen. And so I'm going to teach you all about what that is exactly. And of course, as always, I'm going to give you the protocol to fix it step by step. Because as you guys know, we are constantly manifesting our reality. I think a lot of people think that, oh, that counts as a manifestation, that doesn't count as a manifestation, oh, this person made the first move, so that's not manifestation. When I see comments like that, you don't even know what manifestation is. Manifestation is revealing. It is, life is a constant mirror. It's not like the mirror is just going to stop showing me my reflection one day, and some of it is just going to show me half manifestations, half of my reflection. Everything is a manifestation of yourself. And we've all got desires that particularly weigh heavy on our hearts. We've got desires that we really struggle with in particular. And so this is where this 5-minute protocol is going to be the non-negotiable, especially for those types of desires, because we've got ones that maybe we're not as connected to. You don't have as much resistance. But you know what I'm talking about, because you're here now because there is something that you are desperately seeking, or an identity you're desperately trying to embody as natural, and you're struggling with it. You want to manifest that desire? Well, let's give you everything that you need to do that, because my intention is that all of you get success, and you know that. We have a wonderful family here. The deep code, right? The deep code of manifesting. That's what this channel is all about. And you guys are the architects of your reality. So cheers, everyone. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a hot drink. And thank you for your patience, by the way, because yesterday I was very sick. Thank you very much for those of you who wished Joseph a very happy birthday. It was lovely considering I was limited, and today actually I was even worse. So I wasn't even sure I was going to get this video out today. But I thought, it's a lovely day. Let me get out in the sunshine. I'm actually burning right now. We've got this like heat wave in the UK. You'd think you're in Greece. Yes. Cheers, everyone. That's so needed. I've drunk so much today. But anyway, we're going to go through everything, like I say. And some of you might want to sit back and take some notes. Grab yourself a pen or use the comment section in particular. I just want to shout out and thank, I think it was authentically maskless. You know, some of the names that you guys come up with for your profiles, authentically maskless and Skybell. Last video, you guys posted some really fabulous detailed notes. I know you said that it really helps you, but it also helps the community. Thank you so much for that. And a shout out to Sally, who said that she finds that all my videos are like personal coaching sessions, which again, I really appreciate, because it's always been my intention that I share with you not so much just techniques, but the protocol to manifesting, the deep code of how to get into that subconscious mind to impress on a deeper level. The value here is high. You know, I'm not here to keep you guys searching and just giving you little snippets and not giving too much away so you still feel lost. My philosophy has always been very different. I think that's why my videos have always been so detailed, because I want you guys to get it. I believe the free material needs to be so powerful that it actually creates a genuine and undeniable shift in your state before you even think about going deeper. You know, that you've got everything that you need right here to make a success of yourselves, and many of you have. But if you do need that one-to-one approach, all the links are in the description box below. But today I'm gonna, once again, I'm not holding back. There's no paywalls. My only question to you guys is, are you ready? Are you ready for a shift? Because the protocol that I'm going to reveal in this video is going to go more than just being about information, giving you information, right? There's lots of information to take. This is about helping you to activate it. So let's look into this, shall we? It might surprise you, and it might not, depending how long you've been on this journey, to know that many people think that the most important part, the key element to manifestation, is the technique. I mean, that's where a lot of our focus and attention goes, isn't it, if we're honest with ourselves? But really, no one tells you that it's actually that 5 minutes afterwards, the 5 minutes of either chaos or calm that follows immediately that moment you put your pen down, or immediately after you open your eyes. That moment, that period, determines whether it's going to harden into fact or whether it's going to remain a fantasy. And so, keeping that in mind, this is where we want to deconstruct some of the most central myths around manifestation and what it even is. Sometimes, very occasionally, because like I say, you guys, you amazing architects of this channel, you guys know what manifestation is. For the most part, you guys absolutely get it. But occasionally I'll get the odd comment from people who I suppose are passing by who just don't get it. That doesn't sound like a manifestation. Oh, but she made the first move. That's not manifestation. Don't even know what manifestation is, right? What do you think manifestation is? That's like, oh, the sun has gone behind the clouds, so that's not sun. That doesn't count. Manifestation is a constant, continuous reflection of yourself, what you identify as. It's not the art of attracting what you want through using a few techniques and just sitting back and letting it appear, although some manifestations do unfold in that way. But that's not what it's about, right? What it truly is about, and listen closely, it is the discipline of becoming the identity that causes the reflection you want to see. The discipline of becoming the identity you want to be, right? To cause your reality to reflect that back to you, reflect that identity back to you, because it's always doing it. This video is a reflection of myself, is a projection of what I identify as. You guys watching it, you know, that's a manifestation as well of where you are on your journey, of where you wish to be, of the kind of person that you are. Think about it. You cannot convince a mirror to smile first, and that's where a lot of us mess up. We're waiting for that 3D validation. We're waiting for the mirror to smile first at us before we can smile back. But the universe is a mirror that responds constantly to your being. It's not responding to your wishes as much as it might sometimes seem like that. It doesn't care about what you wish for or what you want. It cares about your state of being, your desire. And you've got to think of it like this. And this is a key gem. Jot this juicy gem, because you might want to have this sticking into your mind. Think of your desire not as a request that needs to be fulfilled. Okay, it's not a request that needs to be fulfilled. But think of it instead as a notification of a reality that is ready to be activated. My desire is a notification of a reality that is ready to be activated, right? It's a notification ready to be activated, suggests it is within me and I am just remembering. You know, guys, I'm like your alarm clock. I'm just here to remind you. Everything is within you, right? But I'm just here, like literally just reminding you of that power. So when you do whatever technique it is that you enjoy to do, whether it's visualizing or scripting or affirming, right? What you're doing in that moment is that you are, or at least you should be, because that's the purpose of the technique, You should be in that moment holding the frequency of that new identity, shifting to the mindset of that identity, that version of you in that moment. And you know you've got an effective technique when the shift happens immediately. As soon as you engage in the technique, you can get lost in it, or you can feel that out. You step into that identity. But the moment that we open our eyes, your subconscious immediately wants to look for the proof, because that's naturally how it works. It's now saying, oh, that was a wonderful scene. Right. Are we really this person right now? Let me just have a look. Let me just sort of check the 3D reality. Now, that's going to happen to all of us. The difference between the amateurs and the masters, and I consider all of you guys masters here, by the way. The amateur, after doing their powerful inner work, is immediately going to commit a profound act of disbelief. They will commit an act of self-betrayal in that moment that they open their eyes. For some, it'll be a very obvious act, something like, right, I'm going to check my reality. I'm going to check my mobile phone to see, did they text me yet? I'm going to check my bank account. I'm going to go and look in the mirror and see if I have that ideal physique, my ideal body, or if I've grown an extra 2 inches or whatever. Sometimes it can be quite obvious like that. We go right back into that old looking and action. But for others, it might be something more insidious. It might not actually be an action as such, but it might be like a mental and emotional reversal, so to speak. So when you start getting those questions saying, okay, did it work? And oh yeah, but you know, I forgot my SP said this. And you know, I'm going back to the inner conversation I had with my boss when they're telling me I'm not good enough to get that result, to get that promotion. And then you've got that heavy thud right there and then back into the old state where that beautiful feeling of the wish fulfilled has just immediately evaporated, and the familiar anxiety about the bills or the bad things that have happened or the third party or the silence from your specific person, whatever it might be, rushes in to fill the void, and you suddenly go back to that old state immediately where your inner conversations are negative, where you're worrying, where you're in doubt and anxiety. Now that is not It's not a problem. Now listen closely, right? It's not a problem when that happens. We know that doubts and anxieties do not have to get in the way. But you want to ensure that you're not doing more techniques. You're ensuring that each time you do a method to shift your identity, it is so powerful that it changes you. It has an impact, so that less repetition is needed. We're not looking for more repetition, we're looking for efficiency and effectiveness. And this is how you do it, right? So even if during the day I have some doubts, I have some anxieties, that's okay. Because if I've gone through this protocol for that 5 minutes after, what I'm going to notice is a lessening of those anxious thoughts, right? So, and I just want to be crystal clear about something as well, by the way, because sometimes you have to really clarify things. When you come out of that imaginal state, and like I said, we will fixate on the 3D reality. Do not get that confused, okay? This is not about denying your reality. You guys who have known me for a while and watched me for a while, you know we never ever get you to ignore your physical reality. Remember my last video that I only posted last week about transmutation? I'm going to put a link in the description box below, right? But remember, we're not pretending that that bill doesn't exist. We're not pretending that your specific person and you are in a loving, committed relationship right now if you're in separation, okay? It's not about denial or pretending. It's about transmutation. Transmutation, which is completely different, okay? In other words, transmutation, you could say it is about shifting your relationship with the 3D world, right? I'm not denying it. I'm changing the relationship dynamic between me and the 3D. In fact, that's probably much more profound, and maybe that will help you guys a bit better. Because as that came to my mind, I thought that, I don't know, that sounded good to me. Maybe it wasn't all that good, but that just sounded like I'm changing my relationship with the physical reality. I'm never changing the physical reality. I don't have control to do that. I only have control to change myself. You know, I don't have control to break up the SP and the third party, or make someone sick, or cause losses and stuff like that. I do not control for someone to fall in love with me and be obsessed with me and all the rest of it. I don't control that. I control myself, and what that does is it influences. This being my mirror has to constantly reflect And it will reflect good things and it will reflect bad things, because the law of polarity, everything is in existence now. This is a constant manifestation. Let's just get that clear. And so the mistake that a lot of people make, which is what keeps you stuck, tell me if you guys do this, is that you're treating your reality as though it's some sort of decree about your future. But you've got to see the 3D world is not a wall. Think of it more as a history book. Okay, I can acknowledge history, I can even learn from history, but I'm not going to keep on rereading history as though it's tomorrow's news. I'm not going to treat it like it's a continuously going to be relevant in my future. So this is one of the very great things that Neville Goddard was teaching, and what he warned us all against when he called it the equivalent of digging up the seed every 5 minutes to see that it's growing. I mean, it sounds insane when we think about it, right? You know, you would never do that to a plant that you were wanting to thrive and to grow. So why on earth do we do that with our desires? We plant it in our mind, we do our imaginal act, and then that moment when I go to check my phone, or I'm waiting for the SP to, well, I've given the SP the power to decide whether or not I'm chosen, or I've, you know, determined my worth and value to what my boss just said. I mean, in that moment, I'm just digging up this seed and checking for that evidence, waiting for that evidence all the time from the outside. That, essentially, that form of checking, it's the highest form of prayer to your old reality. The highest form of prayer to your old reality. That's what that checking is. You've essentially cancelled that order in that moment. But what you need to understand is that if you start to treat your techniques as treat your techniques like this, right? It opens the door. That's how you want to see your technique. Whoop, just open the door, and your state in the 5 minutes that follow is going to determine whether or not you're walking through that door, or whether you're slamming it shut. Now, psychologically, what you're doing is you're creating what scientists have called, and what I've mentioned numerous times in my videos, cognitive dissonance. You've just essentially made a powerful commitment to the identity of the person who has their desire when you've done your technique. But the moment that you are checking for proof, or allowing yourself to quickly, immediately get distracted by the 3D, in that moment, you performed an action that is saying, I am the person who does not have their desire. And your brain, as you know, cannot hold two opposing ideas for very long. That's that whole thing about we cannot serve two masters, right? That's that cognitive dissonance. You make a choice of where you put your focus and attention. I can't control what happens out here, but I can certainly control where my focus and attention goes, how I perceive these things, right? So it will all make, because your mind is always going to want to snap back into the old familiar. And that's what I say with my clients as well, right? We change their state, I give them the tools to maintain it, but I do warn them every single time. 3D is going to want to drag you back in, but if you have a strong enough foundation, it doesn't even matter if it does. It doesn't even matter, because you'll have the tools to once again occupy the right state. And it's not about being perfectly in the state anyway. It's about, let me dominantly reside in this new state. So this is what we call the Sabbath Protocol. The 3 steps that I'm going to share with you, and it's inspired by Neville Goddard's state of disciplined non-interference. And I get it. Like, many people wonder where I come up with this stuff, or how do you come up with this stuff, like, how do you know all this stuff? Literally, guys, you guys who know me, you know anyway, that I've been doing this for 24 years, intensely studying these teachings and real world application, mostly the real world application for the last 24 years, with the synthesis of esoteric wisdom, combined with the science of the mind, because I do have a logical scientific mind that has to, that has to understand it in that way. Even though science is trying to catch up to manifesting, it does help. It does help to understand it on a psychological basis. So the principles of the deep code, the very same ones that I have used to guide my clients, to guide you guys, to guide even established coaches who come to me, and even people whose names that you would instantly recognize. And the reason that they seek out this sort of work, these protocols, the entire reason for this video and all the videos I make, is that this is for you guys who are fed up that the surface level stuff is just not hitting it anymore. You need a protocol, and that is the foundation of what I'm now naming the deep code. So how do we do this? What do we do with these crucial 5 minutes, right? I've explained what happens. I've explained how we sabotage it. Let's put it into action. Are you ready? Have another sip of your drink. I think I drank all of mine. See, I was so dehydrated today from the sickness. Honestly, if anyone's like mega good at health manifestations, send the love this way. I've set my intention. I feel good about it. I did this protocol earlier this afternoon, but you can never have enough love and support. And thank you guys, because I got your well wishes as well on the community post yesterday. You guys are amazing. The best family here. Do we have the best family here, or do we have the best family here? I am currently burning right now. I'm going to come away from this video with an absolute burn marks everywhere. There we go, you see. Now, let's go into the steps, shall we? Step 1, the decision. These steps are very simple, by the way. So the moment that you finish your technique, before you've even opened your eyes or put down your pen, right? I want you to make a very conscious, strong decision and promise to yourself. You're going to state to yourself, for the next 5 minutes, before I come out of this state or this trance or whatever, my only job is to protect this feeling. Nothing else matters. Doesn't matter if I'm met with a distressing memory. Doesn't matter if I've opened my eyes and there's that damn bill looking at me. It doesn't matter the current circumstance, be that as it may. I'm just going to leave it for the moment, but I've dedicated this moment of me doing my technique and that 5 minutes after, especially, in just holding on to that feeling. And it doesn't mean like an elevated emotion, like I say. Could be when my clients shift state, the most common things they say to me is usually they say wow, because they can't believe how easy it is, but wow, I feel calm, peace, sense of peace, calm, clarity. Sometimes it's something like that, right? So it doesn't have to be an elevated emotion. So that's step 1. Step number 2 is the neutral anchor. That's what I call the neutral anchor. So when you open your eyes, I want you to immediately anchor your attention onto something neutral, something physical and neutral. So you guys know that one of my favorite ways to manifest is the passive imagination technique, which again, I'll share if I remember. Essentially, I do that in the shower. I do it when I'm washing the dishes. It's essentially a time where your conscious critical faculty just taps out. You go into that natural state of autopilot and trance. I do it a lot in the shower. I am actually imagining at that point, usually with my eyes open. So there's no opening my eyes for me, but I will hold on to that feeling and I will just focus on the water, making that part of the experience, for example. Or maybe if you're out in the garden and you're doing it, you open your eyes, you're just focusing on this bush or this leaf all the time, holding on to and concentrating my attention and focus on the feeling. It's that intensity of the feeling and the imagery that impresses the subconscious most effectively, right? So you can do that. You might even fixate on the sound of the birds chirping, or maybe the texture of the pen in your hand, and you're just going to hold on to that focus, that anchor, for at least the next minute or two, just to stop your mind from immediately wanting to rush back to its default setting, because that's what it's going to want to do. And then it just feels easier to just hold on to that feeling. The longer you can hold it, the better, but it can be as little as 60 seconds, it can be as much as 5 minutes, but you want to carry that feeling and look at life then, once you've taken your attention away from the anchor and you're feeling a bit stronger with it, looking at life and your circumstances through that lens. That's really, really important. And it's going to surprise you guys what you're going to come up with. In fact, comment below what observations you've noticed, whether it was that you suddenly attached a different meaning to something, whether it was your mood had changed, whether it was your symptoms had subsided. That's what happened to me. My symptoms really subsided. But enough for me to do this video anyway. Now, step 3 is going to be to embody the relief, at least for the remaining periods of time, right? So I'm going to just embody the feeling, the relief, the peace completely, like you're just bathing in it, right? So I want you to focus on the general feeling of relief, the general feeling of quiet, the knowing that your wish has been fulfilled, the version of you who is successful, the version of you who's in a loving relationship, the version of you, right? I'm not being delusional about it. I'm just really enjoying that feeling so much. I just want to bathe in it for a while. And you might internally say to yourself, well, isn't it wonderful? God, isn't it wonderful? Everything just worked out so perfectly. Isn't it wonderful to be in this position right now? And then go and make a cup of tea, acting as the person for whom the battle is already won. And that's it. It's literally, it's as simple as that. That's the work. And that's what you're doing. You're allowing yourself to just process that seed. You're allowing it to go into the soil so that it can take root without disturbing it and digging it out immediately. So remember, the amateur focuses on the technique, but the master manifestors, i.e. you guys, are the ones who are focusing on the identity. The identity moments after your technique has been done. That's how you stop becoming someone who is hopeful and you become more of a master creator. Welcome everyone to your upgrade. I hope that you found that really, really helpful and insightful. Let me know in the comments of your experiences putting this into practice. Let me know how you've been getting it done. Let me see the notes that you've taken down. I love you all. Have a great weekend. Thank you again for your patience with me as I got this video out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.